Hey there and welcome. We spent all day building iOS apps, but have you ever really, truly stopped to think about what's happening under the hood when a user just taps a simple button? It feels like magic, but it's not. It's a beautiful system called the responder chain. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain.
Really think about it. How does that physical touch on a piece of glass find its way to the exact right line of code in your entire project? There's this incredibly smart system that makes it all happen, and that's exactly what we're going to explore.
So, here's our game plan. First up, we'll get straight to the point. What even is the responder chain? Then, we're going to follow the path of a single touch from start to finish. We'll find out who gets to be a responder, see it all play out with a real-world example, and finally, we'll talk about the big one, why this actually matters for the code you write every day.
All right, let's dive right in. So, what is this thing? At its core, you can think of the responder chain as the hidden nervous system for your app's entire user interface. It's this invisible structure that's constantly deciding who gets to react to every single tap, swipe, and gesture.
Now, the key words here are ordered hierarchy. This is not chaos. It's not a free-for-all where every button and label is screaming, me, 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 when a touch happens. Nope. UIKit is way smarter. It finds a very specific starting point and quietly offers it the event. If that object says, no thanks, the message just gets passed up the line, kind of like a note being passed in class.
Yeah, this is the perfect way to think about it. It's just this simple idea of passing a message up the chain until one of the objects raises its hand and says, yep, I'll take it. I've got this. That, in a nutshell, is the entire concept.
Okay, so we've got the basic theory, but what does this actually look like in practice? Let's trace the journey of one single tap from the moment your finger hits the glass to the very instant your code starts running. So boom, you tap the screen. Instantly, the system wraps up that interaction into what's called a UI event. Then, UIKit performs something called a hit test. It's basically sending out a probe to find the absolute most specific, deepest view right under your fingertip. Whatever it finds, a button, an icon, you name it, becomes the first responder. It gets the very first chance to deal with that event. But here's where it gets really cool. What if that first view doesn't know what to do with the tap? Well, the event doesn't just vanish. It begins its journey upward. It climbs from a view to its parent view, then keeps going up the view hierarchy. It'll even get passed to the view controller, then the main window, the application object itself, and if nobody else wants it, all the way to the app delegate. It's on a mission to find a home.
We've been using this word responder a lot. So who are these objects? Who actually gets to be a part of this special club?
Well, it turns out the rule for entry is surprisingly simple. If your object's class inherits from UIResponder, you're in. That's it. That's your golden ticket to participating in the event handling party. And as you might guess, this means pretty much all the usual suspects you work with every single day are already members. Your UI views, your UI view controllers, even UI window and UI application, they all inherit from UIResponder, so they're all ready and waiting to handle events.
Okay, enough theory. Let's make this totally concrete. We're going to look at a classic scenario we have all coded a million times, tapping a button that's sitting inside a table view cell. This is where you can really see the elegance of the system.
So just picture it. You've got a list of items and each one has a like button. You reach out and tap one. So think for a second. Where does that event go? And more importantly, where does it stop?
And that's it. The journey is over almost before it began. The U button is the first responder. And because it's connected to a target action, it immediately says, I'll handle this. The event is handled and the chain is broken. The cell, the table view, the view controller, they never even knew a tap happened. It's so efficient.
So we've covered the what, the how, and the who. But that leaves us with the most important question of all. Why should you, as a developer, actually care about any of this?
Look, I get it. This might feel like a low-level, behind-the-scenes detail. You might be thinking, this is interesting, but does it really change how I write my code? And the answer is a huge yes. Understanding this is key to solving tricky bugs and writing cleaner code. And here's the big reveal. The responder chain isn't some obscure feature. It's the very engine that powers so many things we rely on every day. Gesture recognizers, they're built on it. The whole target action system for buttons and switches, yep. Even keyboard events when a text field is focused, or when you shake the phone, it's all the responder chain.
And this is why it's your best friend when it comes to good architecture. Because an event can travel up the chain, you don't have to cram all your logic into the deepest view. You can let a parent, like the view controller, handle an action for its children. This leads to cleaner components, less spaghetti code, and a much more maintainable app.
So if you remember anything, remember this. 1.
Understanding this will help you debug weird touch and UI issues in a fraction of the time. 2, you'll be able to design cleaner, smarter interaction logic. And 3, you'll be able to build way more flexible and powerful user interfaces. Simply put, knowing this makes you a better iOS developer.
So there you have it, the responder chain, the unsung hero of UKit Lie. It's so much more than just a system for button taps. It's a powerful pattern for building well-architected, responsive apps. So the only real question left is, now that you know its secrets, how are you going to use it to build something amazing?